Hi everyone, it's Natasha Boluifa from PenPatPurpose.com with the last installment in this month's SyncUP series, Renew. Today's segment is titled Life Change. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today, and actually we'll be featuring a recorded testimony from one of our very own SyncUP subscribers sharing how developing a relationship with Jesus renewed her life. Let's listen to her story.
How has my walk with Christ renewed my life? There's so many areas that I can think of. But just recently, I found an old journal of mine that dates back to '99. And I realized I was communicating with God. Outwardly, I thought it was just a personal relationship I had in my head. Not participating in church and not acknowledging Christ to anyone that I had a relationship with. They didn't know how I felt. But in having this type of relationship, I realized it was a long distance relationship with Christ. One of those that I recall occasionally, one that I would open up to, but still not completely show my innermost feelings, fears, concerns, but showing some disparity. That's what I do remember in that journal in '99. Fast forward to when I really decided to walk with Christ is when I became pregnant with my son. My husband and I had been married for a few years at that time. And when I became pregnant, I realized I cannot do this by myself. Meaning I just didn't feel I had the tools to do this. My husband's presence was going to be there, yes, but just really felt like there was something else more that I needed. Something that I could not do alone, like makeup. Because in every other aspect of my life, I always felt like I can fix it, I can do it. And this was one area that I could not. And recognizing this, started going to church a little more consistently and really hearing the word and allowing the Spirit to really speak to me. And that's when I realized this is what I needed. I needed to walk with Christ in a very close proximity, have this close personal relationship, but yet let others know about this walk that I'm having and be very open about it, as I am in other areas in my life. This is one that I just had to learn to be open about as well. Once I had my son, we did a dedication, and during that dedication, I realized here I am asking the body of people, the body of Christ, and some important people to help us raise him and show him the ways and to what it is to walk as a Christian. But then realize I never outwardly announce my walk with Christ. And that's when I decided in 2009 to get baptized. And from that point on, I felt God really, I felt the presence. I felt that relationship where I knew I had a best friend, a father. Everything that I felt was a void, I knew I had in him. And recognizing that it was time for me to start maturing in ways that I was avoiding. One of the most significant changes in my life is my relationship with my mother. When I grew up with my mom, I left her house at a very young age. In leaving her home as a teenager, there was a lot of hurt. There was a lot of emptiness. There was a lot of scars. Moving forward, God constantly reminded me the importance of the relationship I need to have with my mother, and that he was going to use me in that, with some simple steps of just initiating. And that was very hard, and feeling like she's my mom, she should be initiating calls to me. We've gone maybe almost 2 years without talking to each other from one time to another throughout a course of 20 years. But then in the last, once again, after I had my son, that relationship changed, that dynamic changed, and I heard from her a little bit more. She heard from me a little bit more. And then we fast forward to this past 2-3 years, I started seeing great changes where just because I said I love you first, just because I initiated a hug first, I watched her change, and I watched God renew her life, and I listened to her speak of Christ in a way that I've never heard her speak of God in the past. And in watching these amazing things, I realized that I was taking the right steps, hard as they were. That was my challenge that God gave me. So as of late, I say in the last month, we had a phone call, and the phone call was a regular phone call, and then somehow it just changed where she became apologetic in regards to some of the things she did when I was young and I was a child, and I was thrown off, and the apology was so sincere, it was so heartfelt, and it was so, I wasn't looking for it. In the past I was looking for her to take responsibility for all the wrong, and I never got it. And then when I wasn't in that place of hurt, God had started the healing process as I was walking this walk to figure out how to have this closer relationship with her. The healing had already begun. So at this point, I wasn't looking for an apology. I wasn't looking for that opportunity to say, you did this to me. But then when she apologized and seen the sincerity, I was so thankful that I was not in that space of hurt, because hurt people, and I would have taken that opportunity to go in and hurt and just regurgitate all of whatever was done. Whereas now, I can't. I just can't. It's not who I am anymore. It's not. If you ask me now about my childhood, it will take me a moment to remember some of the details of some hurt. And I will tell you, some good stuff, whereas years ago, it would probably just be a lot of remembering the bad times. Where that's just not on the surface of my memory anymore. It's just one of those things that God has just allowed. He was so gracious to allow me to have some peace in that area of my life, and renewing of my mind and my spirit and of my whole being cannot happen if I did not seek out God and ask God for some peace, for some healing. Didn't know what areas this was going to happen, but then was challenged, and I had to grow up and mature in ways of taking my own steps to make sure that happens. We can't pray and then just wait. We have to pray and walk. We have to pray and talk. We have to pray and be proactive in this change that we're asking for from Christ. Other than that, we're just treating him like a genie, and that's not his purpose. His purpose is to see us redeemed, however, as long as it's in his will, in the direction he needs us to go. It's not what we want, and it's not what we want. I am talking about a course of maybe 30 years of a relationship with my mother that it's pretty bad, and here she is at 77 apologizing. That's amazing. That tells me it's never too late, and once again, it's his timing, not our timing. So as now an adult, married, with a child, job, all that I go through, what I know that will never leave me nor forsake me and quit on me is God. And so with that, I'm renewed and I'm hopeful, and I know my life is definitely different than what it was prior to my relationship with Christ.
What an amazing testimony about how the power of a relationship with Jesus Christ renews a life in so many ways we may even think impossible. I'll end with this week's words for thinking. When God renews a life, He rewrites bitter histories, rebuilds broken presents, and reshapes future legacies. Now, take some time during the rest of your day and reflect on the Think a Little Deeper questions posted below this video. And don't be shy. Be heard. Share your reflections by posting a comment. Well, this concludes this month's SyncUP series, Renew. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And until next time, remember, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly. Bye for now, everyone.